Blog show. Blog show.
Welcome to the Blog Show, your weekly lesson in Sports Blogging 101. I am Professor Irrelevant, joined by my bearded colleague, Dan Steinberg.
Yeah, and this beard really has me feeling more and more like an unemployed blogger and less like an employed blogger. But the point is, every time we mention a blog this week, we're going to give a little ring, and a blogger's going to get his wings.
Yes, sir. And the first clip up comes from a crazed German Jazz fan watching some playoff basketball on his computer.
Es lädt. Es lädt. Ich will nicht, dass es lädt. Wenn es lädt, dann muss man.
That was found via YouTube gym finder Bethlehem Scholes of the Fan House. And in all reality, that was actually a pubescent online gamer playing a game known as Counter-Strike that some NBA inner nerd gave some brilliant subtitles to.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I've ever heard that much heavy breathing on the internet before. It's kind of remarkable.
Yeah, I haven't been around.
But the point is, that could have been about playoff basketball, because playoff basketball is all about intensity.
Yes.
And I learned that this week by reading the blog Basketballful.
It's a good one.
He was at the Bulls Heat game 1, and he noticed that the blimp that flies through the stadium kind of crashed into the crowd.
Oh no.
He called it the Hindenburg disaster.
That's clever.
Tragic. And, in the regular season, maybe the fans would have just kind of lightly petted the fallen blimp. But in the
Try to help it back up.
Right, but in the playoffs, they started punching at it, which to me, it's playoff intensity.
That's a natural reaction.
The other key point about this is that for one day, Michael Sweetney was not the only immobile blimp on the Bulls.
Nice.
No?
That was good. He was once good for Georgetown, but now not so much.
Anyhow, more playoff intensity for you. I was at the Cavs game, and LeBron James and Damon Jones kind of debuted a new pregame ritual.
Right.
A little roundhouse punch from Damon Jones, and LeBron ducks underneath it. And we saw some more new pregame rituals out in Golden State, where Fan House's MJD found another pregame ritual. Steven Jackson getting kind of mock frisked by Matt Barnes before the game starts.
And that is in reference to Steven Jackson's nightclub shooting earlier this season in Indianapolis. And MJD noted that that's good for two reasons. One, it's hilarious if you have the right sense of humor, and two, I mean, it's a public service for those that are in the arena. S. Jax isn't packing heat.
Right. Everyone's safe.
Everyone is safe. And hopefully everyone will be safe at the two parties happening in nightclubs this weekend in D.C. The Cavaliers are coming to town to hopefully, for their sakes, finish off the Washington Wizards. Game 3 Saturday night will be followed by a Larry Hughes Gilbert Arenas joint party that they're throwing in the district. And then Sunday, the night before Game 4, it's Hughes and LeBron throwing a party of their own, taking over another club.
And we learned about this through the Deuces of Davenport blog, and I actually talked to the owner of H2O, and this is what he told me. Let's face it, these are young men. They put in a lot of hard work, and after all their hard work, they want to be able to go somewhere and relax and socialize. Which
that sounds reasonable.
Sounds reasonable.
I mean, especially on the eve of a playoff matchup. And while we're on the subject of gossip, Miss Gossip in the NBA Fan House, she's been doing NBA hair watch all season long. Well, Ronnie Turioff, the Lakers super sub / cheerleader, he's been wearing braids, pretty long braids all season long. He literally let his hair down for Game 1 against the Suns. It was visually striking, I assure you. And also the aforementioned Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes again.
Yeah, again, came with the mohawk.
Yeah.
And as your shirt says, maybe the opponent should fear the hawk.
Yeah, we seem sort of obsessed with kind of all things hair on this particular
I'm
segment.
obsessed with your new look. You've really raised the sexy Steins with that playoff beard.
Yeah, it actually itches. I feel like there's 20,000 termites gnawing at my face right
looks
now.
like it.
Yeah. But anyhow, speaking of beards, I guess, the Baron Davis's beard is in the news again.
That is the playoff beard.
Yep, and the Bay Area blog Say Hey published an open letter from Baron Davis's beard. You really like the opening, right?
Yeah, well, let's start off with what's craculating. And I've never heard the term what's craculating.
Right. And I guess the beard was responding to the facial hair that it might be facing in the playoffs, and specifically to Devin Harris. It said that his jaw is as smooth as my boy Steven Jackson's Glock.
Now, that's a good line. You could learn something from a line like that, Steins.
Thank you.
And that is one of the best series in the NBA playoffs. But moving away from the NBA into the world of baseball, Albert Pujols, the finest hitter in all the land, has struggled a little bit this April, so he's played around with his facial hair. He's gone from goatee to clean-shaven to full beard, and this has all been at St. Louis Sports Magazine, and they really uncovered a diamond in the rough.
Yes.
It is Albert Pujols' high school yearbook photo where he is sporting a Uncle Rico-style mustache.
Yeah, that's a stash to remember. Speaking of stashes to remember, I guess, the 700 level, a Philadelphia area sports blog, was very excited about the news this week that Sal Fasano, he of the Fu Manchu, is back in the majors.
Philadelphia folk hero, that Fasano. Not much of a player, but a hell of a mustache grower.
And when he left, 700 level said it was a sad day for mustached men everywhere.
Single tier, yes. Well, and this has been a good week for the mustache, because up in Baltimore, the Baltimore Sun reported, and this spread like wildfire across the blogosphere of ours, from the WBRS sports blog to Fan House to Deadspin to the DC sports blog, gets a ding as well, even though it belongs to you.
Thank you.
The Orioles relievers started this unity stash movement. And it's not just the relievers growing the lip fur, it's also position players like Kevin Millar, Aubrey Huff, Jay Gibbons, but they've been very careful to abide by the club policy on facial hair, which does not allow for mustaches to extend beyond the corners of the mouth.
Yeah, and the reporter for that item is actually Rock Kabako, who has his own blog called Rock Around the Clock.
Nice.
And my favorite quote from the story was John Parrish, who said, "It feels kind of funny. I've never had one this long."
That's what she said. And then blog show correspondent Big Daddy Drew actually submitted his other displays of team unity in sports history. First up, the 2006 Bengals all agreed to commit various acts of civil disobedience together. The 2004 Red Sox all agreed to become as insufferable as their fans. The Jordan-era Bulls all agreed to do whatever MJ said and not ask, which explains the careers of Luke Longley and Will Perdue. And then finally, the 1986 Mets did a group speedball before every game. And our producer Littles actually Googled 86 Mets speedball and came up with the image you're seeing right now, which is Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, and Mike Tyson.
Very nice, very nice. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the kind of professional transition that only an experienced blogger should make. Are you ready? The baseball mustache made me think of Tom Selleck and Mr. Baseball.
It's a fine film from my formative years.
And Tom Selleck made me think of Japanese baseball, and that made me think of this Bill Simmons inspired video from YouTube of a brawl in Japanese baseball. And let's take a look.
I've never seen anything quite like that. I mean, the guy beamed him and then ran off screaming like a little ninny into center field.
And that pitcher, you know what happens when he throws a fastball against lefties?
No, what's that?
It runs away.
Oh, very good one. And we'd like to give props to Bill Simmons on that, a spiritual godfather of the sports blogosphere.
Indeed.
But let's move on to other video from foreign soil. This week, it was a banner week for soccer goals in the blogosphere.
Great.
First up, we found this one at the offside.com. It is it's a goal off the groin.
Yes.
More or less.
Actually, if you listen to the announcers, what they say is it misses both his legs.
That's pretty good. And we were talking about what would be the best line. I mean, maybe like a three-legged goal. I don't know. But moving on, a Polish player actually hit a 20-yard bender off of his bum. This one was found on Who Ate All the Pies.
Yes.
So we've got one from both sides.
And if you're an opposing goalie, you want to make sure you never give the opposition any crack in the net at all.
Did you write that one, or was that Big Daddy Drew? That was probably one of yours.
I think that was me.
That
yeah.
was Stein's original.
Over at Fan House, there's another goal, and this is from Diego of Werder Bremen.
Should I have heard of him?
I'm not sure. It's a very long goal, though. It's kind of like Dan Marley range on this one.
Yeah, this one reminded me of like when in hockey they pull the net and they pull the goalie and then the other goalie scores.
Kind of an empty netter.
Empty netter. And also a really spectacularly skilled goal, not so much luck here involved, is Lionel Messi with his goal of the 21st century, reminiscent of Maradona's goal of the 20th century.
Yeah.
Pretty much took it from half field and evaded like 5 defenders.
Half field.
Midfield?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Soccer?
the center line. I don't know. What do they call it? Point is, he went through all of these guys. It was kind of a spectacular goal. Our producer Littles, to get him on the air again, he said that this was the best goal he's seen in a long time.
We should maybe bring him on set next time we talk about soccer.
One
But
of these
before
days.
we get off of this subject, just proving that soccer is way cooler overseas than it is here in America, it's a Mr. T commercial for Snickers that they're airing on UK television.
Ref!
Quit your jibber jabber. You ain't hurt. You pathetic. If I ever catch you acting like a crazy fool again, you're gonna meet my friend Pain. Snickers, get them nuts.
And that clip was via our friends at Splatter Mail. We've even got Mr. T on set. Don't know if you can see the Mohawked bobblehead. Again, the
Out in
Mohawks. Fear the Hawk.
Yeah, and we really like the kind of the end tag there of that commercial, I think.
Get some nuts.
Get some nuts. Although it kind of reminded me of the old satisfying slogan from Snickers, and that reminds me of my cheese of the week, if I'm going to just launch right into it. And it's Carvalhai's Maubé. It's a take on the French Morbier, and it's
Sounds
got
fancy.
a little thin line of grapevine ash running through the middle. It separates it into kind of two different cheeses, a sheep's milk cheese on one side and a goat milk cheese on the other side. And I think that lots of people around the country are probably going to be eating Maubé tomorrow during the NFL draft.
Well, not our friend Big Daddy Drew, because he has submitted his tips for setting up on draft day. According to BDD, this is all you're going to need. Beer, average 1 beer per pick, which would make for 1 Busch 30-pack plus microbrews of your choice. Have a bottle of gin ready for the second round. You'll need it. A Chris Berman voodoo doll and pin cushion. You'll also need a rope connected to your front door to allow delivery man entry, a switchblade to ward off family members, and of course, an empty bucket.
Right.
Head to KissingSusieColbert.net for Big Daddy Drew's Draft Day Diary. And that does it for this episode of Blog Show. Number 6, we made it to a half dozen. We'll hopefully make it to number 7 next week. But before you go, we got to play the YouTube clip of the week. This one comes from our friend Brady Fan, who remade the Killers' Mr. Brightside as Mr. Upside in celebration of all of the NFL busts of drafts past.
Blog Show Wardrobe provided by WizNuts.com and JukeLife.blogspot.com.